If you're an Indian, you've at least dreamed once that India could rule the British instead of British ruling us. But that's just a fantasy, right? No, I'm going to make it a reality in Hearts of Iron 4.
But I'll start a new playthrough in which I'll try to rule as fairly as possible. We'll just select a new game, select single player, and we'll select, now you need to select the Soviet Union. Now you might be asking why the Soviet Union, but trust me, we will need the Soviet Union. We'll keep Iron Man mode off, we'll even keep the historical mode off, because this is not going to be an historical playthrough. Now once you open as the Soviet Union, we open up the console commands menu, and we will annex the ING, which is the British. So all of the British territory is gone as fairly as possible. British don't exist in the game for now. Once that is done, now we will tag as the Raj, which is India. And boom! Now we are playing as India. As fairly as possible.
So now what? Firstly, you start building up the infrastructure for India. As you can see, the Indian infrastructure is really terrible. We don't go to any wars at the moment. We just stay neutral for a long while. If you want to, you can take Nepal and Bhutan until then, but it'll just unnecessarily increase the world tension, which we don't want. Firstly, we do the basic essential tools first. So we'll research the basic machinery tools and the civilian train so that we can start supplying supplies to our soldiers, right? So we need the train and we need the basic machine tools. Then after that, you can do a little bit of division preparation. We'll just go with whatever we have since we don't have any experience. I mean, we can get it with console commands, but I want to do it as fairly as possible. Then we do that, we just select a border, then we put them on exercise so that they can start gaining experience. Now earlier I was saying we will need the Soviet Union, but why? You might be asking. Well, to increase the war support and the stability and the political power of our country, we'll need to be communist. And what does that mean? Well, that also means an improved relations with the Soviet Union. Why do we need to improve relations with the Soviet Union? The thing is, India is not powerful enough to rule everything on its own. We'll need allies. The Japanese will start attacking the Chinese provinces after a while, and that's when we step up to help them. In which case, we will be getting their friendship and they'll become our ally. Now I know we'll not be getting the whole territory, but it is just temporary. Once we get powerful enough, we take control of Japan too. Well, the Soviet Union is the most powerful nation in the entire world at the moment. Even before they took the British, the Soviet Union was still very powerful and very capable. They have a lot of tanks, and in the game at least, they are very highly trained, unlike the real life Russia. To improve relations with the Soviet Union, we will need to be communist. Even with different ideology, and even with the increased cost, the relations don't improve unless you change your ideology. So we both need to be communist. Once we establish good relations with the Soviet Union and the Japanese, then we can start our world conquer quest. Plus, now it wouldn't even make much sense to conquer the world because we don't have any air force, we don't have any navy, and we don't even have any military. While we wait for the trains and the basic machinery tools to be ready, we can until then make plans for Afghanistan conquering because Afghanistan is relatively easy to conquer and our military troops are fully trained for this.
2,000 years later.
Finally, the trains are finally ready. We can finally see the trains taking supplies there. So let's get ready to conquer Afghanistan. And let's just hope that we actually annex Afghanistan because we don't want to kill all of our soldiers. Well, that was very easy. Much simpler than expected. And congratulations, India won its first ever war. But before we go on to Iran and other countries, we will need more military and more tanks and stuff. So we'll not go for Iran or any other country at the moment. Setting up everything and the military and getting ready for conquering another nation and waiting for Japan will take a long while. But I already have another playthrough in which I proved that India could rule the world. And if you want to know what it is like living in this world, join my new Discord server specifically made for this playthrough, the Great Indian Republic. And I've made it incredibly realistic, just like this playthrough. You can go in any part of the world you wish, and there'll be weekly events, and you can even suggest me new playthroughs here.